Servus from Austria. The second half of the DTM season 2014 has begun, and we are ready for a very exciting race weekend. And as you can see, the driver parade is taking place at the moment. And how exciting this race weekend was. Here are the highlights.
Styria Goli. The DTM spent the weekend at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg in the picturesque Austrian Alps. The track, located at the heart of the Styria region in a glorious mountain setting, is usually the venue for fantastic racing, with plenty of overtaking to delight the drivers and the race fans too. Last year's race involved gambling with the changeable weather, and it looks set to be the case maybe again in 2014. Excitement and pulsating motorsport are guaranteed. Marco Wittmann has fond memories of the Red Bull Ring as he stepped firmly into the limelight here last year, finishing in second place in what was only his third DTM outing. He went on to finish 8th in the driver's standings and earned the title of Best Rookie of the Year. Wittmann has already won 2 of the 5 races this season and leads the standings, 20 points ahead of Matthias Ekström. Bruno Spengler and Eduardo Mortara lie 3rd and 4th respectively. Bruno Spengler won the race in Austria last year, with Timo Glock coming in 3rd place. The 2012 winner, well, that was Eduardo Mortara. In the championship standings, though, it is Matthias Ekström who is currently the best placed Audi driver, with the Oschersleben winner Christian Vitoris the best of the Mercedes men. Now, someone that has chosen to live in Austria is this man, Timo Scheider. So, effectively, for the Audi driver, this becomes his home race. Robert Wickens won at the Norris Ring. And here we see Christian Vitoris just taking on some fluid before the start of the race. Now, Daniel Juncadella knows the track very well indeed, as he won twice here in Formula 3. And the Spaniard is going to take us on a high-speed lap of the track.
Hello DTM fans, I'm Daniel Juncadella, and now I will present you with a lap to the Red Bull Ring. Here we're coming on the main straight, crossing the line. First corner, need to brake late, but mainly you have to focus a bit more about the exit, because it's a long straight coming up. Be careful with the track limits at the exit of turn 1. Then we have the longest straight of the track. Then you are arriving to the hardest braking point of the track, uphill braking, 100-meter braking, down to second gear. Very tricky on the exit. Always try to have good traction, but it's always quite tricky on this part of the track. Then we have another longish straight and braking again, 100-meter, again down to second gear. Downhill corner, quite tricky. Be careful at the exit. Then we arrive to the fastest part of the track, which is this third gear corner, third, fourth gear. Then another left corner, the only 2 left corners of the track, fourth gear. Not a lot of braking. You have to use all the track as maximum as you're allowed to. And then the last 2 corners, quite a fast one. This one, be careful again with the track limits at the exit. And then the last corner, early braking and try to get maximum speed out of it using the whole track. And that's a lap to the Red Bull Ring.
Robert Wickens makes his mark in the Alps. With his final flying lap, the Mercedes-Benz driver claims pole position for the 6th round of the DTM season at Spielberg in Austria. His 2nd pole position of season 2014.
It's been a good day. You know, we were quick in free practice, and then we were able to put it together in qualifying as well. And you know, going into the weekend, I never expected to be challenging for pole position, but I was hoping that Q3 was possible, and for sure we proved that it was.
Mercedes is surprisingly strong in Styria. No fewer than 3 drivers of the mark with the 3-pointed star land in the top 10. Pascal Wehrlein is 5th. Christian Vitoris is 7th on the grid. And in 2nd to 4th place on the grid, we find a trio of BMW drivers, Timo Glock, Marco Wittmann and Augusto Farfus. Here's Timo now.
It's a shame with 6 thousandths to Robert, but you know, he deserved it. He did a really good job, really good qualifying, and looks like Mercedes made a step forward, which is great for the championship, that we all can fight again for for points with all three manufacturers, and it's good for the show.
The Bavarians also put up the strongest team performance in Austria, with Moscow race winner Maxime Martin, Joey Hand and Bruno Spengler in 8th, 9th and 10th place. There are 6 BMW drivers in the top 10. That must please Jens Marquardt.
Timo did a great job, had a very good lap, but for Marco, I'm really super happy. I mean, he's heavy because of the performance weights, and a lap like this is really incredible. Augusto, great job. Maxime as well. The other guys all very tight. So I think even if weather tomorrow is unstable, we're still in a good position for the race.
On the other hand, there's disappointment for Audi. Jamie Green is the best placed driver from the Ingolstadt constructor in 6th and the only Audi driver in the top 10. Let's hear from Jamie Green.
I mean, me personally in 6th place, that's a reasonable qualifying and starting position, and it gives me, I've won races before from further back on the grid than 6th, so I'm certainly, not negative from my own perspective, and I'll, keep that positive attitude tomorrow and see what we can get in the race.
DTM champion Mike Rockenfeller is only 14th, and Matthias Ekström, who is 2nd in the driver's standings, is even worse off in 16th place. Not a good position for Audi to finally score that long-awaited first win of the season. Here's Dieter Gass now from Audi.
We came here really with a quite optimistic attitude, and we thought the track would suit us. What we experienced today was, I think, one of the worst performances that we have seen over the past time. And what makes it even a bit worse is that there is no obvious reason why this is the case. So something we need to look into, analyze, and try to make the best out of it tomorrow.
Let's take a look at the qualifying results at a glance. Robert Wickens with the 3rd DTM pole of his career, and in total the 117th for Mercedes-Benz in DTM history. Martin Tomczyk and Daniel Juncadella start from 11th and 12th place. Let's turn the page and find that Antonio Felix da Costa tops the second half of the timing screen. Behind him, as previously mentioned, we find Mike Rockenfeller, who starts down in 17th place on the grid. Due to his collision with Adrian Tombe in Moscow, the reigning DTM champion is dropped 3 places. It means that Timo Scheider, Matthias Ekström and Miguel Molina all move up 1 place. Paul de Resta brings up the rear. A bad accident in free practice resulted into a lot of work for his mechanics, who managed to repair the car in time for quali, but the Scot was left without a chance. It seems then as if the battle for victory in the race will be between Mercedes-Benz and BMW. But as they say, a dispute between 2 parties can open the door to a third. One thing is certain: it will be by no means boring.
I'm now here with Matthias Ekström. Eki, now it's the second half of the season has just begun. That means we had 5 races already. You were in the podium 3 times. All in all, how would you say is your personal conclusion of the first half of the season?
It's always nice to be on the podium, sure. Still, we haven't been on the top spot, which is always the dream. And I think in Hockenheim we would have had a chance, but other races we didn't have pace enough. So I'm still pretty pleased to have a lot of good points and some good races.
Now, you won the title twice already. How about a title hat trick? What are the chances this year to gain another title, the 3rd title?
Yeah, sure. When you're second in championship, there's always a chance. But BMW and Marco Wittmann are doing a good job. So to catch them will be difficult. Still, there's a chance. And as long as there is a chance, we are going to fight.
And now it's official that we're not going to China. We're going to Zandvoort. What do you think of that personally?
I think it's great. I don't like Asia at all, and I have a lot of success and good memories from Zandvoort, so I really look forward to go there.
And now today in the race you're starting from P15. What are the chances that you're going to do well in the race, and what are you hoping for?
I mean, the racing here is always special. I think with DRS you are very often able to pass, so I think it's quite nice, but the big picture to get some points is still where we have to aim for. I mean, historical-wise, 10 places is a realistic target, but that will mean also some luck because all cars in front nearly are hard-fighting enemies from BMW, Mercedes, only one Audi, I think, in front of me. So it will be a very difficult job, but I will, as always, fight like an animal in the race.
I'm sure. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Some 47,500 fans have flocked to this DTM event here at the Red Bull Ring, where the show, naturally, will include a couple of typically Austrian attractions. The pomp and ceremony with the band playing for the fans here from the very, very top of the uphill section into turn 1, and you can see just how steep it is as our camera looks back to the grid assembled here at the Red Bull Ring, and the ever enthusiastic race fans are waving their flags in anticipation of the race getting underway. All smiles there, no surprise. And what a phenomenal circuit this Red Bull Ring is, known to the drivers as a roller coaster. Well, a real roller coaster of a weekend for Paul di Resta, who starts from 23rd and last place. What can he pull off in his Mercedes from there? Well, we're about to find out how the former Formula One star fares here at the Red Bull Ring. Edoardo Mortara, well, he's 4th in the championship standings at the moment, but qualifying certainly not going his way. He starts from a very lowly P21. Final preparations for Edoardo Mortara. He's about to get in the car. And Gary Paffett in the Euronics liveried Mercedes-Benz is starting from P19. And as you can see from the graphics on screen, he's starting on the option tyres and will be hoping to make up a number of places right at the start of this race. The season has taken a turn for the worse for the champion here, Mike Rockenfeller. He's a disappointing 17th on the grid and will be hoping to right the wrongs of Moscow just a couple of weeks ago. The likeable Schaeffler driver, Mike Rockenfeller. Fellow Audi ace is Matthias Ekstrom, and he starts from P15. Not where Matthias Ekstrom would choose to be on the grid, but the very best that he could get out of his car for qualifying. And Timo Scheider being photographed before getting into his car. He's starting from P14. So, the back end of the grid. What about the very front end? Let's find out how the pole sitter is feeling. Here's Robert Wickens.
I'm here with a man who made yesterday's qualifying super exciting. I mean, what a show that was. First, in the last session, you had a big spin, a bad spin, and then last minute you snatched pole position. What kind of show can we expect from you today?
Hopefully no spins. Yeah, I mean, it was unplanned, obviously, but you know, I was able to, calm down again and put together a lap that was good enough for pole position. But today's a new day, and I'm gonna see what happens. Get a good start, and then hopefully try to control the race from there. But it's not gonna be easy.
No, I don't suppose it is, but it's great to hear from Robert Wickens. Extremely dramatic qualifying session where he saved the very best until the very last. Final throws of quali, and he sets his pole position time. Okay, let's take a look at the grid from P's 10 to 7, and on P10 it is Bruno Spengler then, as the crash helmet goes on for the BMW Bank driver. And a fantastic qualifying for Joey Hand, the American racer in the Crowne Plaza liveried BMW. He goes from P9 and will be hoping for a supremely successful race. Good quali from Joey Hand. Last time out at Moscow, what a sensation it was for this man. Gave us pole position and then a stellar drive throughout the race to never be challenged, and taking his first victory in the DTM, Maxime Martin then. And the success, very good for his confidence, which I hope hasn't taken too much of a dent, with a qualifying performance not quite as successful as in Russia. It's P7 for Mercedes-Benz driver Christian Vittoris. Now, undoubtedly, Mercedes-Benz seem to have taken a step up here at the Red Bull Ring. See if we can find out the answers why. Here's Verena now.
Here with Wolfgang Schattling. Now, yesterday we really saw phenomenal qualifying in regards to Robert Wickens. He really did a great job. However, there are three BMWs breathing down his neck, so certainly it's going to be a tough race. But it seems that the summer break you really used well, because you seem to have found your pace also on regular tracks.
I must admit we were really surprised to be up front like we are now, but on the other hand, we knew the circuit would come to us in a better way than Moscow did, and so we had some hope, but that we could achieve pole was a positive surprise, I must say.
Now, Robert is a really cool guy. Do you think he's going to keep his calm now in the race and hopefully end up on the podium? Hopefully victory?
I don't know where he will come out, but he will give his very best, and he is a very talented driver. He's very cool, and so he's under stress, he performs well, so we are absolutely convinced he will do well, but we never know.
Thank you, Verena. Okay, let's take a look at P6 through to 1 now. And going from P6 then, in the orange Audi, it is Jamie Green. Maxed what he could get away from the Audi in qualifying, and that gives him P6. Here is Pascal Wehrlein. Good qualifying from Pascal Wehrlein, P5 in the Mercedes, proving that Mercedes really have taken a step forward here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, only 8 corners, and that's suiting the Mercedes-Benz as well. And next we see the Castrol Edge driver, Augusto Farfus. There he is. And at the end of season 2013, we would have expected Augusto Farfus to be one of the front runners for season 2014. The start of the year, or first half of the year, has not gone the way that perhaps Augusto Farfus would have liked. Up next then, it is the championship leader. What a sensation this man has been. In season 2014, Marco Wittmann starts from P3 on the grid. And he'll be hoping to secure some solid points to maintain that position at the top of the championship table. Timo Glock, well, he was watching the big screens, he was telling me, towards the end of the qualifying session, and felt he'd done enough to set pole position, only for that to have been thwarted, of course, right at the very end by this man, who saved his best until last in qualifying and belted in a fine lap to give him pole position. Robert Wickens will start this DTM race from P1. Well, Audi will be disappointed with their qualifying performance, particularly here in Austria, which is the home nation for this man.
Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, you feel at home here, you are Austrian, so that's a plus, definitely. However, the qualifying yesterday certainly didn't go well for Audi. Very disappointing results with Ecki and Motara all the way in the back. What can we expect today, and are you perhaps hoping that the weather god is going to do some crazy weather?
No, I think the weather god, he brings the same weather for everybody. For sure it's better if you are in a better starting position, that maybe some unpredicted things from weather help to mix things together. But no, it's not the idea. We discussed yesterday a lot after this qualifying. For sure we are not happy with this result, but we are going to attack and try to make the best out of it.
Let's take a look at the grid then before the start gets underway here at the Red Bull Ring. Robert Wickens and Timo Glock are on the front row of the pack. Row 2 for Marco Wittmann and Augusto Farfus. Wittmann, of course, leading the championship charge at the moment. Pascal Wehrlein and Jamie Green are on the 3rd row of the grid. Then we see the first of those on standard tyres, Christian Vitoris, and the victor in Moscow is Maxime Martin. A good quali from Joey Hand in the Crown Plaza BMW, and Bruno Spengler is alongside him. Then we see Martin Tomczyk on options, P11, and Danny Uncadella preferring standards from P12. Antonio Felix da Costa and Timo Scheider line up on the next row of the grid. Then we see Matthias Ekstrom and Miguel Molina. Work to do for the champion Mike Rockefeller from P17. He's got Nico Muller for company on that row of the grid. Then we see Gary Paffett and Adrian Tombe, both of whom are running the option tyres and will be hoping to make places up at the start. Edo Mortaras P21, Vitaly Petrov P22. And Paul Di Resta, following that torrid qualifying session for him, will start from P23. That is the grid in full for you then for DTM as the anticipation rises in the garages. We visit Mercedes first of all, and there's Jens Marquardt in BMW. And Dieter Gass and Wolfgang Ulrich there in the Audi garages. The start is about to get underway when the lights go out. We are away and racing. I suspect Wickens will dive to the inside of the circuit. No, he doesn't, but he gets a blistering start. Marco Wittmann bogs down, and Wittmann loses places. Farfus goes through, so do does Wehrlein, and maybe Jamie Green as well. They head up then from turn 1. There's a kink in this straight. Here it comes. They're going uphill now towards the Remus turn, which is turn 2. And Timo Glock there remains in P2 because Robert Wickens gets a blistering start. Marco Wittmann still trying to defend his position and minimise the losses he's making. Gary Paffett moving up the order as well. Of course, he's running on option tyres. Here's a replay of the start then, and that indicates just how uphill to turn 1 this section is. As away they go, an absolutely blistering start from Robert Wickens, but was it a jump start from Christian Vittoris? I don't think it was. I think he just anticipated it really well and was absolutely on the nail for Christian Vittoris. Well, we will see if the stewards take a look at that. Here we can see it again. You know, I just think Christian Vittoris really was on the button. But so too was Robert Wickens with a fantastic start. Look at that, a couple of car lengths before they even got into turn 1. Timo Glock had got nothing to offer in terms of trying to take that P1 away from Robert Wickens. There we can see in replay everyone running wide, including Vitaly Petrov. Now let's see it from Christian Vittoris. On board with him then Jamie Green in the orange Audi. Now Christian Vittoris stays on this line. Marco Wittmann, who was slow to get away, very nearly gets passed by Jamie Green as well. Wittmann running out wide there, as you can see. Now track limits excursions have been a problem in turn 1 and turn 8, and we're on board with Timo Scheider now with the BMW bank car of Bruno Spengler right ahead of him. This is a fantastic onboard shot, and Timo Scheider's going to dive up the inside of Bruno Spengler. Indeed he does. We're on lap 2 of 47 here. DTM at the Red Bull Ring. And this is a great shot also on board with Timo Scheider, making light work of the BMW of Bruno Spengler. Christian Vittoris, as you can see, is getting well up the road. Wickens leads from Glock and has already built up a 2-second advantage as they go 3 abreast there. Paul de Resta in the mix, Matthias Ekstrom as well, and Antonio Felix da Costa, and Gary Paffett hung out to dry there as a bit of panel work comes off. One of the cars there is probably one of the little aerofoils on the side of one of the wings. Absolutely dicing. We've got a mix of option and standard tyres, you see, and that's where the difference is in terms of pace. They reckon that the option Hankooks make it about a 2-second difference per lap. Vitaly Petrov tucked in behind Gary Paffett now. Paffett the loser in that car number 5, no further action. Then, of course, Christian Vittoris with regards to whether there was a potential jump start or not. So Robert Wickens goes through. There is Timo Glock, Augusto Farfus, and DRS enabled now as we see a replay of this scrap here. And, well, Gary Paffett and Paul de Resta. We saw the fins flying off the bodywork of one of the Mercedes. I suspect it was off the front end of Gary Paffett's car. I think Paul de Resta just ran wide there, and Gary had little opportunity to do anything other than just run into the back of him. And he, of course, the big loser in all of that. Meantime, here is Christian Vittoris then fighting off Timo Scheider. The option tyre shot, Timo Scheider should be able to make very light work of Christian Vittoris. Indeed he does. Run here. Made that look very easy around turn 7. They head down towards turn 8 now, this downhill section. It's got a real hump in the middle of that final turn 8. And, of course, Christian Vittoris can do nothing but see Timo Scheider just get further up the road. Here is our race leader then. It is Robert Wickens. P2 is Timo Glock, but getting ever closer now is Augusto Farfus, that's for sure. And so too actually is Pascal Wehrlein as they run up towards the Remus turn now. Augusto Farfus is going to have a go up the inside here. Timo Glock on the outside, and Augusto Farfus with ease is able to get past Timo Glock. And next in the target sights of Augusto Farfus is going to be that man ahead of him, Robert Wickens in the Mercedes, that's for sure. We're on lap 4 of 47 here at the Red Bull Ring. It's DTM, and Pascal Wehrlein is trying to buy into this party as well, and goes right then left to try and find a way around Timo Glock, but all of a sudden the yellow Deutsche Post BMW becomes awfully wide, and Pascal Wehrlein is not able to find a way past. So Augusto Farfus then chasing down Robert Wickens. The BMW team look on. And there, over the last 3 laps, you can see the difference between Wickens and Augusto Farfus and how the gap is coming down. And it is just going to be moments before Robert Wickens is going to be under threat from Augusto Farfus. It's Mercedes versus BMW here. And now around the kink, this is where Farfus could have a go. DRS, of course, and Robert Wickens doesn't have DRS available to him because he's not within 2 seconds of any car in front of him. So the rear wing flicks up. Augusto Farfus does deploy the DRS, but hasn't been able to quite get past Robert Wickens. But he's going to try awfully hard. Up against the barriers, Antonio Felix da Costa. What has happened here as Felix da Costa is out of the car? his race seemingly done and dusted. Yellow flag flies in that area, of course. And, well, Antonio Felix da Costa is out of the race. That's a shame, and there's some technical issue there, as you can see. It just coasts, lets the traffic go past, and then presumably just gets the car over to the right-hand side of the circuit, because we saw it hugging the barriers. Oh, yeah, there's an escape road there, so the car will be snatched away very, very quickly. But that's a great shame for Antonio Felix da Costa, who is one of the DTM rookies this year, of course. Gradually been improving and improving. He's going to go no further in this race as Augusto Farfus now has another go at Robert Wickens. Tries the outside line this time, and is he going to be able to get right alongside Robert Wickens? Wickens sticks his elbows out, and Augusto Farfus, well, is still trying to find a way past Robert Wickens. Some great defensive driving from Robert Wickens there. This is the fight for the lead. Bear in mind the first car on the standard tyres is that of Christian Vittoris down there in P10 at the moment. And Farfus now, oh, very nearly contact between Farfus and Wickens. The heli shot that we're able to bring you shows you just how close they are, as Farfus now goes for another dive, and Wickens has lost it now, surely. No, he stays absolutely committed. He's on the curbs, he's not prepared to yield. This is brilliant driving from Robert Wickens. They are side by side, and the pictures we are able to bring you around turn 7. Absolutely phenomenal driving from Robert Wickens. Turn 8 now, start-finish straight. This is great driving from Robert Wickens. Great driving too from Augusto Farfus, trying to find a way round. And of course, what this is doing is just allowing Timo Glock and Pascal Wehrlein to get ever closer as well. So this battle is fraught. Now they run up to Rima's turn. Surely Farfus deploys the DRS. Wickens does that have that available to him, and this a replay of that fantastic move by Augusto Farfus. He gets right alongside Robert Wickens, but Robert just keeps his foot in. He's out on the curb, he's on the Astro, but he stays with it. He remains absolutely committed. A little bit of barging between the two of them, but this is just fantastic. It's what we want to see. Supreme racing. The engineers look on in admiration as well. We're being told that 5 drivers are handed drive-through penalties. Here they are, speeding under yellow flags. Muller, Edo Mortara, Joey Hand, Danny Juncadella and Maxime Martin all getting drive-through penalties. We can see Hand, Juncadella and Maxime Martin taking their drive-through penalties right now. Let's get back out to the action then, as again Augusto Farfus lines up Robert Wickens. And now you can see, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, those two battling means that Timo Glock, Pascal Wehrlein have all been able to get on terms with this. And I'll tell you what, we're not far away from Jamie Green being involved in the battle as well. As first in for his mandatory pit stops, Augusto Farfus. Now he's trying to get the march here by being the very, very first in. So he'll swap from options to standard tyres, and he'll be back out again. Well, we're on lap 19 of 47, so he chooses to dive in early to make the mandatory pit stop and tyre change. And of course, what will be crucial to this is him getting out now and not being mired in traffic. The team will have looked at this and worked it out cleverly so that Farfus now can get the very max out of those standard tyres and not be balked by anyone ahead of him. Now, relative to when Robert Wickens, Timo Glock and the rest of them come in, and where Augusto Farfus is on the track at that point is going to be absolutely crucial. This is a fascinating race, and it's playing out here at the Red Bull Ring in DTM as Timo Scheider has a go at Martin Tomczyk, not quite able to make that work. So Timo Scheider has Tomczyk ahead of him. It's the white BMW, and then Timo Scheider dives to the inside. He's not quite close enough to be able to get up the inside there of Tomczyk. So the battle between BMW and Audi, and of course just ahead of them is our championship leader. Let's see it again in replay. This is how Scheider did it. Dived up the inside here. To be fair, it's a mistake from Tomczyk. Look, he runs wide, but you carry so much momentum around the outside of that turn that Tomczyk actually, it was a good save from that error. They all come in now. Look at this, a huge train of cars all coming in to change their tyres. There's Robert Wickens. Timo Glock, of course, was in P2 at that point. Now, where these cars come out relative to Augusto Farfus is going to be absolutely crucial. There's Timo Scheider, who's got one of the last garages in the pit lane. Oh, and Wickens and Timo Glock almost come together. I think Wittmann And Wehrlein probably did get a touch there. Where is Farfus? There he is, he rounds turn 1. Surely he's got the rub on Wickens now. No, he hasn't. They are absolutely side by side as they head up towards turn 2. There's just a little bit of rub in between them here. Wickens is not going to let him have the inside line. And Wickens retains the lead, or does he? Now Farfus is going to be in exactly the right position because the next turn is a right-hander. This is fascinating. They are absolutely neck and neck. There you can see Farfus has got the right line through there. Timo Glock also buying into this as well. But Wickens is not giving up without a fight here. Car number 25 under investigation for an unsafe release. Timo Glock takes a look at Wickens now. Well, Farfus has done it, but he had to work jolly hard for that. So the race leader is Jamie Green. Now, there's Jamie Green having just done his mandatory pit stop. So he leads from Augusto Farfus, then Robert Wickens. So Green leads, Farfus, Wickens, then it's Glock, Wittmann and Tomczyk. Wittmann, the championship leader, P5. As they head up towards the Remus turn. Now here is the unsafe release from Pascal Wehrlein. Look at that, he does actually run into Marco Wittmann. Jolly close too between Robert Wickens and Timo Glock, as you can see there. Almost a little bit of a nudge. So that in replay, there's a whole train of cars there, of course. Let's see him replay now where Farfus gets right alongside Robert Wickens. Robert Wickens absolutely nailing it up towards turn 1. Not going to make it easy for Augusto Farfus, who was desperately trying to get the inside line there, and Wickens just wasn't going to give way and yield, and why should he, to be fair? Augusto being made to work very, very hard for that as the BMW team applaud. Okay, here's Jamie Green. Now, Jamie Green takes off his option tyres, but why did he not come in with the rest of them? The rest of the pack, surely, as we see a replay there of Pascal Wehrlein and Adrian Tombe getting very physical. Oh, and that brings the Pascal Wehrlein car into retirement. Well, that's a great shame to see Pascal Wehrlein out. He'd been running so very well. However, back to the Jamie Green story. Car number 21 under investigation, used the option tyre. He's used the option tyre for too long. He's going to get a penalty. No question about that. So Augusto Farfus is our race leader with Robert Wickens P2. And Jamie Green getting a drive-through penalty in the orange Audi there. As you can see, there's Augusto Farfus, there's Robert Wickens. And Marco Wittmann has got past Timo Glock, and I suspect Timo Glock didn't make it too hard for him. No, he didn't. There you can see Marco Wittmann, our championship leader, going past Timo Glock. And here is Jamie Green serving his drive-through penalty. The maximum number of laps allowed on the option tyre was 22. He completed 23. Lesson there for the team or the driver, perhaps, as now Robert Wickens turns up the wick again on Augusto Farfus. Well, Farfus having to swerve out of the way to avoid damage there. However, you cannot question the commitment of Robert Wickens. And, well, Robert Wickens got his nose in front once again from Augusto Farfus. Now, penalty being awarded to Robert Wickens. Drive-through penalty. As Marco Wittmann gets past Augusto Farfus without too much challenge from Augusto, but of course Marco Wittmann is the championship leader. So Robert Wickens then, as Timo Glock tries to do the same here, but not having quite as much success, it has to be said. But so Robert Wickens is unsafe release, potentially getting a drive-through penalty. And this is how Wickens lined up Farfus again. And this in replay, you can see under braking, the back end of the car absolutely whale-tailed. Discussion going on there. And this is Marco Wittmann with not quite as much challenge from Augusto Farfus. So the black flag is being shown to Robert Wickens. He was handed a drive-through penalty for the incident in the pits involving Glock. Hasn't come in to serve the penalty within the mandatory 3 laps. Here's the incident again in replay. This is interesting because, look, Pascal Wehrlein clatters into Marco Wittmann, but there wasn't any contact between Wickens and Timo Glock. It was slight. And now the team lodged a protest, said nothing to Wickens, and now he's got the black flag. His race is over. You can see the anger on the pit perch there with the Deutsche poster. Oh, Robert Wickens comes in. Pretty quick, to be fair. He will be utterly furious. Black flag, non-respect to the drive-through penalty that he was awarded, and he will be utterly livid. Didn't want to drive into the garage. Did you see that? I suspect he will be straight over to the pit perch and to try and get some measure of what on earth has gone on here. So basically, he was given a drive-through penalty. You have to take the drive-through penalty within 3 laps. He didn't do that, so he's been disqualified from the race. That will be a very, very bitter pill to swallow for Robert Wickens, because he could have banked some points. Whether or not the drive-through was right or wrong or indifferent, there he is. He's on the pit perch now to have a discussion here and find out what on earth has gone on. Because he could have banked points. Even if he'd served the drive-through penalty, he'd have still been in the points. He wouldn't have won the race. Let's find out from Wolfgang Schattling what went on.
Wolfgang Schattling, what was going on there? Obviously there was a drive-through penalty which you didn't accept. However, in the end he got black flagged because you didn't get him in. Was that a management mistake? Why did you decide to do it that way?
In our opinion, this was definitely not an unsafe release. Everybody could see it on TV. So we tried to convince the stewards that it was not, but in the end he had to.
And in the end it cost him the race.
But in the end he got the black flag, and we have to respect this.
Well, it's the last lap, and you'd have never have thought it, but this man is going to win the race. Marco Wittmann is going to really cement his position at the top of the points chart. Marco Wittmann, whatever the rights and wrongs of what's gone on, Robert Wickens will score nothing, and Marco Wittmann will max his position at the top of the points. So that black flag for Wickens means Marco Wittmann will win this race. Will also be good for Farfus, for Glock, for Tomczyk and Scheider as well. There's Vitouris P9. And interestingly, the margins on the option tyre better at the start of the race than at the end, which you'd have thought with the lower fuel load at the end of the race that the options would be even better, but that's not the case. Here's Jamie Green, who's making the best of what he can following his drive-through penalty for using those option tyres for too long. But round turn 7 goes. Marco Wittmann then, the championship leader, who's going to add yet more points to his championship tally as the BMW flags wave ferociously as Marco Wittmann takes the win and the checkered flag and locks up in front of his team. It's Wittmann from Farfus, from Glock, from Tomczyk. Last year, top 3 BMW. This year, top 4 BMW. Then it's Scheider, Tombe, Ekstrom, Jamie Green gets P8, and then it will be Christian Vitouris to take P9, Bruno Spengler P10. Wow, what a race for BMW as we see Marco Wittmann in replay and locking up those tyres. One man that's going to be very, very happy is Jens Marquardt.
Jens Marquardt, last year you managed a triple victory, and this year you managed to top it with a quadruple victory. Are you lost for words, or are you just absolutely thrilled?
Well, I am absolutely thrilled and lost for words. I mean, this was a real tough race. I have to admit, there was so much action on track, and I have to really thank all my guys. They did a fantastic job out there. They really fought hard, but they stayed out of trouble, and was tough racing out there. And they really kept their noses clean and did a fantastic job. And this is really well deserved. And I'm super happy for all of them. Marco, outstanding job, but also Augusto and Timo and Martin. So it's really great.
They really did a great job, and of course for Marco it's also fantastic, who's anyway the leader of the championship, and now another victory can't hurt.
Can't hurt at all, and good points for the Manufacturers Championship as well. Stefan Reinhold for his team. I mean, all 4 teams scored. I mean, this is really great. This is a day that will be really always remembered at BMW.
Don't think there's any doubt about that. Marco Wittmann, Augusto Farfus, Timo Glock, Martin Tomczyk, the 1, 2, 3, 4, which means a top 4 lockout for BMW. And then the next 4, all Audi, Scheider, Tombe, Ekstrom, then Green, and Christian Vittoris and Bruno Spengler, Molina and Joey Hand, the top 12. In what has been an incredibly dramatic DTM race here at the Red Bull Ring Spielberg in Austria. 47 laps of, well, some drama unfolding. There is page 2 of the result then, and Verena Wright is with Timo Glock right now.
I'm here with a very happy man. You were fighting also like an animal. P3, how does that feel? Are you happy? I mean, you were fighting so hard, but in the end, P3 is good?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, it's another step from last year. I mean, last year we had 1, 2, 3 for BMW. Now it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 even. And that's great. And I think today we showed how teamwork is really going to work out. And that was very important for BMW in the Constructors' Championship. And great for me to be back on the podium. And it was a pretty tough fight all the way through. I mean, with Robert degrading the tires a bit more, I came back in the mix. But it was tough. It was not easy. But I'm happy, you know, at the end we got a great result.
Okay, and here's Augusto Farfus.
Augusto, what a fantastic job you did. I mean, you were just so on the fly and so attacking. P2, are you happy with the position?
Yeah, I think looking at how we started the season, struggling to get the car into the window today, we definitely show a winning performance. I mean, he definitely had a very strong pace on the options and on the prime. So I take this P2 because I'm sure it's the beginning of a winning loop.
And 4 BMWs in the front is fantastic, isn't it? Quadruple victory.
Wow, 1, 2, 3. What can ask any? I mean, you cannot ask any more. Marco did a wonderful job as well, so I'm very pleased to be part of the job.
A very happy Augusto Farfus then as we watch the slow-mos of our race winner Marco Wittmann and the Ice Watch livery which adorns his BMW. I would think he's going to be one happy man.
That certainly was a phenomenal performance you showed there, a fantastic race. And also as a championship leader, now you're also 39 points ahead of Eki. How does that feel?
Well, first of all, it was a great race. I had a quite big mistake at the start. I expected some more grip downs there and had quite a big bog down. So I lost quite a lot of positions, and yeah, it was for me it was important to be calm, not to get in a contact. And then it was more or less important to save tires, not to push too much in the fights. And at the end, I could push and come back. And actually, of course, we had a bit luck with the 2 drive-throughs in front of us. But sometimes you need this luck, and finally, it was a great result for us in BMW.
Well, Marco Wittmann realising, of course, that luck played its part as he receives now a bull made out of glass. He's pretty delighted with that. We've had all 3 of them up there on the podium. Great podium for BMW, isn't it? Former DTM driver then, Prince Leopold of Bavaria, His Royal Highness, makes a trophy presentation to the team and shakes hands with the 1, 2, 3 on the podium as well. And Alexander Savavi, the Deutsche Post Senior Marketing Manager, presenting the second place trophy to Augusto Farfus. Pleased to be back on the podium. At the end of last season, we've expected a bit more from Augusto. Isabella Lebock, then the snowboarding world champion, makes the presentation to Timo Glock. So the podium, a very, very happy place for BMW, and Mr. Jens Marquardt, there he is. Of course, the boss, very, very happy with his team and what they have done as they all pose for their photographs atop the podium here at the Red Bull Ring. Okay, now this is a replay of the pit stop instant, or instants, plural, depending which way you look at it. So there is Glock, he's gone. There's Robert Wickens. Now, do they actually touch here? I don't think they do. I suspect that Timo had to perhaps just ease off a bit. Now, less contentious, I think, was the Pascal Wehrlein. Now, Pascal Wehrlein, of course, retired from the race, but so therefore academic. There's Timo Scheider coming in. He's not part of this. This is the instant. Robert Wickens, the very right-hand side of your screen there. There was a little touch between Wickens and Timo Glock, but certainly there was a touch between Wittmann and Wehrlein. As I say, Wehrlein actually retired, so... Well, discussions will roll on and on. Best Mercedes man, though, was Christian Vittoris with Verena now.
Christian, you're the best Mercedes with 9th position. I guess that's not what everybody was hoping for. I guess you're a little disappointed, or how do you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the strategy we chose yesterday obviously wasn't the right one. Starting on the prime tires, changing to the option tire. Today was for some reason not good. We didn't have the pace at the other one at the beginning. So yeah, it was really, really hard for me to catch up, train again. Yeah, we scored some points, but obviously that was not what we have expected after yesterday. But mainly it's because of the strategy, I would say.
And all in all, I would say for Mercedes it was a black day. I mean, Wickens being black flagged, and also for Wehrlein, catastrophe. There were heated discussions. Did you hear anything new about that?
No, I'm just out of the car. Just saw the replay, but that's all of information I have at the moment.
And in general, as a driver, do you say it's the rule, you just got to accept it, or I mean, it's still frustrating?
Well, at the end, if the stewards take the decision, I think it's you have to take the penalty then. The result is the black flag now, so you have nothing. Then I would prefer to drive through, take some points, than having nothing.
Well, that's what we said earlier, that perhaps Robert Wickens would have been better off just banking the points, even if he feels hard done by. Here's Adrian Tombe now.
Now, P6, I guess it was a really, really tough race, but all in all, let's also talk about the little collision thing you had there with Pascal Wehrlein. After that ended the race, but from your point of view, how was the race? Pretty tough, huh?
Yeah, pretty tough, but also very enjoyable. From P20 to P6, I think it's a very good performance. The car was really good. Yeah, on the way to that place, you have to take a bit of risk, overtake, and I think with Pascal it was fine. A bit better than in Norrisring. Try to be a bit more calm, and no, I think it was everything okay.
Good to hear from Adrian Tombe. Okay, the Drivers' Championship then. Marco Wittmann now on 95 points. Matthias Ekstrom 56 and Bruno Spengler on 42. Up next, we're heading off to the Nürburgring, where the DTM season 2014 will continue.
Well, we certainly saw an amazing, exciting, thrilling race here in Spielberg, but it's kind of hard to describe what we saw. But after the first pit stop, after the mandatory pit stop, let me describe it like that. You have a handful of cards, and all of a sudden, they're tossed down. All of a sudden, everything is mixed up, and it's just crazy what came out. We have a quadruple victory for BMW. I think if you would have asked me this morning, nobody would have expected that. So it's going to be exciting at the Nürburgring, so you don't want to miss it. See you there. Bye.